for August 10th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Under your August section, tab 1, under August, you have your workshop agenda and your regular meeting agenda. Does there need to be any additions or deletions to the agenda or workshop?
Alex, there is something I'd like to see if we could add. I've been asked by a couple of people down in Rosewood, on Rosewood Drive. This came up a long time ago also. A couple of people have asked if a street light could be put where Rosewood Drive connects to Edgewood.
Cora Circle.
Where they just did the paving.
Cora Circle.
Huh?
Cora Circle.
No.
That's what that's called. Edgewood, Rosewood, that little section is called Cora Circle.
Well, whatever it is, where they just finished the paving now.
Yeah, that road from there to there is called Cora Circle.
Yes.
Yep.
If we could put a street light, have a street light put there, because a lot of people walk late in the evenings and stuff. So do you think that would be?
Well, we'd have to see. I mean, that's a cost on us. I've already got several requests for more as well, but there's also a lot of lights around the interstate that was put up there before, and I've asked Georgia Power to see if those are ours or the state's. There's a lot of these amber lights. If it is, we want to take them down and redistribute them throughout the city, so we can add that to the list. I've got a couple requests over in Lake Hills as well too. We can just add it on to look at and bring it
I've had 2 or
back.
3 people mention it, and that they would really like, because they walk down there and it's dark and the railroad tracks right there. And
Well, there's nothing back there. That's what's bad about it. So
But we had, remember we talked about this a couple of years ago? I brought it up. And and you know, when I was talking to you today, I was telling you, I remember somebody saying something about there wasn't anybody that lived back there, but
There's
I know
not.
people do walk.
yeah, they do.
well, there's no houses. Core Circle's what ties Edgewood to Rosewood. There's no houses on
yeah,
that section except for the first 2 and the first being out of
But then after I
Rosewood.
talked to you though, I got to thinking, we talked about this, and did we not talk to Georgia Power one time
Well,
about changing out, we had some lights that were out?
well,
They changed those out.
remember we worked with them during that time, and we had to sign an agreement. That was about a few years ago when they changed them all to LEDs. But I have noticed around the interstate, there's a lot more lights since the traffic light, the big lights have come up. There's 6 or 8 lights up there that still come on. They're those orange amber looking lights. So I got contact on that for maintenance. So when we have maintenance and stuff, we call, and they're checking on them for me because we've got some other requests for them too in Lake Hills and other. But we pay a flat rate now. It used to be up and down all over based on the lights, but now it's a flat rate by the Public Service Commission. We actually pay more for them with the newer technology than we did in the past. Because our bill went up because they done a flat rate. And it ain't that you buy the light and it's over, you just pay that flat rate. And we were paying about $3,000 more a month on all of our lights than we were before they changed
Well,
it.
can we check into, I mean, can
I mean, we
they-
can, yeah, it's just one of those things y'all would have to, we could present how much more it was gonna cost a month, and this is the time to do it, because we get into the next thing, because we have to budget for it,
All right.
because that's a monthly payment we pay.
But if you would add that to the list and check into that, I would
Yes.
appreciate it.
I'm just gonna do it, I don't think it's I mean, that's what we already discussed, nothing to vote on or nothing, but I had to request, but I was trying to get a total number verified since we done, and I asked about those over there. So there are several lights that's still coming up that we don't need, that those big tall lights will cover. If they're still on our bill, we can move them around.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping we can do without
Okay.
making the bill go
Well,
up,
I
so.
appreciate it, because like I said,
Yeah.
I've been asked by several people.
And I know they probably think I just wasn't working with it, but when we had talked about it, and that's basically what I was told to do with any houses, but
No, but there's a lot of people that walk down here.
I know, and hey, I'm for putting lights anywhere and everywhere, but
Well, I don't think one light.
But, I mean-
It would take
No,
more than
it-
one to do that whole section through there. It'd take a few, 3 or 4. It's pretty
hopefully
long.
there'll be houses there eventually.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put it on and we'll find out exactly, and then they'll have their folks, and then we'll add that to 9 and just call that a discussion for streetlight additions. Anything else to be added? Anything to be added to the regular meeting? Not need look over the minutes for the July 13th meeting to be any additions or deletions. If not, need okay, if everybody's okay with it, to add to the consent agenda.
That's good.
All right. Good, Terry.
Yes, sir.
Christian, Rhonda.
That's fine. Yeah.
No board appointments or proclamations. Does any commissioner have a splash item to bring before the commission? And behind your minutes, item 5 be the requests for Milton Circle requests. You'll see an email that Mr. Bart Harris emailed to Ansel that just to let you know that he will not be pursuing a zone change for the property in a Milton Circle that was addressed at I guess it was 251 Middleton Circle to be addressed from that. So that's no longer a request, which we knew. This would just be saying that we accept that he was not going to change it. Item 6, surplus equipment.
Okay. What I wanted to talk about was surplusing our little paving machine. What brought this up was, we paved all these patches, and we're working on paving part of Walnut Street. And the guy from Kistner Paving was down at the shop with Timmy, and he saw the little paver there, and he asked about it. Well, our machine doesn't work. You can't crank it. Timmy's been here 7 years. It hadn't been used one time since he's been here. This is what he said, which I know we can't do it this way, but I just want to bring this up and see what we can, or how we can, or if we can. He said that he was very interested in it because it was an older, smaller one that you didn't have to have a permit to move. And Timmy explained to him that, he probably had to do some work to it, and he said that they were equipped to do that. And he offered to purchase it for $10,000, or he said if we would take paving, we'd be willing to pay $15,000.
Worth of paving?
Worth of paving. But I know we can't really swap stuff out like that. We have to surplus it and bid. We either have to bid it or we have to put it on gov deals. But we talked to the attorney today, Rosanna and I, and he said the way that we could do it was surplus it out, and then he would just have to bid $15,000 to purchase it, and then we could turn around and in turn do paving. We would have to pay for the paving. And if we bidded it out and somebody bidded more than $15,000, well, that'd just be great for us. But Timmy got online and pulled off 3 different ones. The only one we found comparable that was the same year, which ours is the 1977. This one does work though. It sold for $8,900, and then another one sold for just $1,200. And then there's a 2006 was the closest one we could find, which it sold for $14,000. But it's larger. It's a 2006, and it's working. And we have the little tar machine. And now, what was the deal with that, Timmy? He offered.
I think he got $5,000 on paving.
But it could be a quick thing, which, like I said, I know we have to either surplus it, take bids, or put it on gov deals. But we know we would get a good price for it. And y'all, I don't know. I mean, our streets are pitiful. And I know we've only got so much we can do with, but this has been sitting down there for 7 years, has not been used. I mean, why wouldn't we get rid of it?
It's depreciating every day.
And the guy told me, I said, well, first of all, I mean, I don't know, I'll just have to look into all this, I'll have to find out what it's worth. He said, well, I can promise you, I'm offering you way more than it's worth, but to me personally, I've got to, he said, I need it to clean up after, or I would like to have it to clean up after jobs. But, and I don't know what that means, but,
Well, yeah, the bad part is he would give us 10,000, but is that possible for him to buy it for 10,000? Has it got to be bid on, or what is it?
Well, just like they said, you gotta put it out and take sealed bids on it, and the highest bid would win it. If that'd be the right way to do it, to give him an opportunity to bid on it. If you put
and
it-
he can do Ron told us today that he could do, in order to do the 15,000, he would have to bid 15,000, and then we just turn around and do 15,000 and pay him.
Yeah, but he ain't willing to pay 15,000 for the machine. He would give you 15,000 of
Well,
Take the
payment.
15,000.
Well, if he knows we're gonna turn around and spend it with him, I don't know what, I didn't wanna present it to
Yeah.
him like that until I talked to you guys, found out if I even could. So how do y'all feel?
I feel we need to do what's, however we can get the most money out of it, that's what we need to do. And get rid of it, because it's not gonna do anything for us sitting there.
Taking up space.
So,
So could we take sealed bids on it?
Just have to put it in there. If you want to do that, we'll take sealed bids, but you got to decide if you're going to do both the tire machine too.
Well, we won't need one without the other.
And we talked about doing it for a sealer. If it could work, go and seal cracks on the streets, we could do our own sealing during the times when it's.
But have we ever used it?
No, we ain't never used it. I mean,
We talked about doing that to see if it can convert to a crack sealer.
but we can always try that, and if it's not gonna work for us,
Well, if he's willing to give for it now, that's just something we talked about, but we're just so limited. We can't keep up with what we got now.
yeah.
But that's just another thing of maintenance. If we had more time to get on on the cracks and stuff, you could seal them, put those seals.
Yeah.
We were gonna check with the company and see if it could be put the sealer in it, and you go out there and heat it up and seal the cracks in the streets.
Well, now, do you have to have, Timmy, do you have to have the tar machine for the?
They've got their own, probably,
Yeah, they
Kessler
have their
does.
own.
They got trucks.
Okay.
That was stuff that Barton bought when he was there and he found it.
I remember.
And so, I mean, it's a good machine. The one reason we didn't surplus it last time was because we was gonna try to use it to run all the pug through to finish up Vanguard Drive, but we're getting delayed on it from the grant. Billy had mentioned that machine would do pug, where the Sick County machine won't, because there's gonna need to be a pug base on top of Vanguard Drive. That was the reason
But we really
you brought
don't-
it up a few years ago. We
Yeah.
decided not to, but we're still waiting to get finished with some of that.
But I would like to get rid of it and do something we could use now, because we could have, instead, I mean, we don't know when that'll be, or,
Well, that, and then you don't know how much it's gonna cost you to get it working again. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with it or anything like that, but it may cost a pretty good penny to get it fixed.
Timmy said he used to crank it years ago.
it wouldn't do nothing anymore. I don't know what's wrong.
So you're all agreeing to put the paver and the asphalt
So
the tire trailer for surplus
Still
equipment.
bid.
so we
Seal
could put
bids
it
for
in-
surplus equipment.
We have to put it in the paper, Rosanna.
Well, we got to vote on it next. We'll
Well-
put it on the consent agenda, then once it gets done, she'll write it up on the thing and we'll get it in. We'll have to run it up starting
You can do
next
both,
week.
don't you, Wanda?
Yeah, both pieces.
The tar trailer and the paving machine.
I mean, I feel like it's something, it's kind of like something hanging in your closet, you're always gonna wear it, but you never do.
Everybody's in agreement to add under consent agenda.
But I do have these bids on these others if you care to look at it. And I did bring you all a copy of our ordinance on surplus and equipment, just in case.
All right. Behind still under tab 1, we've got the resolution R4 2020. This is a resolution for the authorization of executive of the Coronavirus Relief Fund, CARES Act funding. GMA and ACCG worked hard to get some of the funding for the cities and the counties, and this is a resolution we have to pass to start that funding for the city. It has to be used for COVID-type relief funding, just like our information out front that we're trying to get bids on. We've got 2 different bids on it. It would go into protecting the public and employees up front for the addition out front. So this is just some of the formality if y'all want to use this COVID funding. Now we're under some very tight lines on some limits on this based on what the federal government has given us guidelines for. We have to stay within guidelines and submit this in, and only can be done for COVID type relief funding. Telework to get our phone system and any other thing that we need to do telework. Supplies and relief to continue on. I believe the whole grant was $112,000 for the city of Trenton. But right now, 30% has already been deposited in our account, and we've got till the end of the month to obligate this funding for that 30%, and we've put in the front remodel for the obligation. What I ask is either to allow me to continue on working with these funds to continue based on what COVID will work with us to do, because we've got to make some quick decisions. We can't come back and do special called meetings to approve this stuff. It's approved by the federal government in the grants portal. It's nothing that has to be approved through here. Just at the resolution to do the fundings for this. We're looking at a few more laptops if we do have to go into the fall season to do this, where everybody can work from home. We did make arrangements this last time, but it would be like if Rosanna and Cindy had to work from home, which that's only our 2 front, they could continue to do it just like they're sitting here. So we got a price for upgrading our existing phone system and a few more laptops, and also a system where the public can go on to our website and submit any type of orders for pickup garbage or things, and it could be where the public don't have to come in, and it could go right to Timmy eventually through iWorks. We priced a system for iWorks. Things like that, it requires the public to have hands-free, or not hands-free, but where they can actually get in there and not have to come in person and do things. So a couple things is to have the resolution, to approve the resolution, and if anybody else wants to help, or I can just give you information about what we're doing. But right now, the first amount was $33,000. We submitted all that to do the front remodel.
Pass it to Alex.
So, what's y'all's thoughts on that?
I think that's fine.
I do too. They'll
Okay.
take care of the extra workers at the park and the chemicals and.
Well, there's different things we're doing, and that's different. We've got a federal declaration as well that does that. So anything related to COVID, we had the 2 employees for a while and the 1. All the sanitation supplies we got, we're keeping all that separate. We're keeping it in. We were submitting it on the federal declaration. That's through emergency management.
Okay.
The CARES Act funding is another thing to help continue on as well, what's coming up. And there's 2 phases of it, the first phase now and the second phase.
Okay.
So 30%'s been awarded to us, and we have to approve and submit through the grants portal what we want to do with the other. But we're looking at other things, but the first 30% has to be committed like a signed contract, and we do have 2 bids for this out front. The third was not able to, just too busy, but it's putting a whole new aluminum storefront up front, because that's been there since '94, and it's wood, and locks are hard to get. You would build the walls, you'd have a new teller line where that box is, that blue box that's in the ground. It'd be a countertop with a stone top facing that could be washed multiple times, something that won't absorb You don't want wood, you want something that don't absorb coughing or touching and stuff. It'd be glass with a top hole and a small pass-through for them to pass the stuff through. Then you have another set of aluminum entry doors. So nobody just can't free throw right into the office here. And then the ladies are secure. Well, then Cindy had mentioned a lot of times she's doing work in the courts clerk's office. And if somebody comes in, she'd have to walk all the way back around to see who it is. So we're going to put a window in the wall. If you look at Cindy's court clerk office and the mayor's office, there'll be a window in that wall. So if somebody comes in, and there'll be another speaker and a place to handle business right there. Because a lot of times if the clerk or the court clerk's here by themselves, they're in both places. And so that would help. And they could answer a phone and do things in both offices, but the public wouldn't be there. So then there'd be access control. If somebody was allowed to come in through the back, most of your business could be handled out front. So we've obligated the first 30% of that to there. So once we get a project thought about and it gets approved, I'll send you an email about what we're going to do with it. But they've got it under so many, about 5 or 6 different things of COVID-related items that's approved. So and we're learning more every day. We've got meeting this Wednesday and Thursday. ACCG's putting one on, and GMA's supposed to be doing another one. They're working together because there's just tons and tons of questions that we've already, I think we've both sent in about 2 to 4 questions apiece. And we also are doing the same as the county, and I'm kind of working with that in the county side as well. So we approve the resolution and allow me to continue to sign stuff to keep working towards the COVID relief for securing our city. We're also looking like at the motionless hand sanitizers that could be out here for the park, for the civic center, anything that don't require anything to touch, like paper towels or soap dispensers. That's some of the things that we're seeing a lot of people's going for. So we're seeing that, and we're going to get a thing for that to help get it what we're going to go for. All right, budget. Your little red folder. You'll see your, if you haven't got your information into us yet, you're going to see your January through July 2020 budget on every line item from revenues to your expenditures. Then you're going to see your 2021 general fund preliminary budget at the current millage rate. It'll show the revenues and or what expenditures you have given. And then the next orange tab is your sewer budget, January through July. And also the 2021 sewer budget at the current rates that we have for sewer funds. So this is homework, I guess. Go home, look at, and if you have talked about some things and Rosanna's put it in, we have got confirmation on workers' comp, health insurance, and I guess our general liability and all, and those rates are in there. Right now, health insurance is sitting at 0. But there is increases on workers' comp and our general liability. I'd ask for you to, would like to have a workshop just on the budget so we can meet the end of this, mid of this, a couple weeks this month, and then come back for, decide what you want this also be set in the millage rate, if we want to leave it like it is. Rosanna, I have the final proposal, what the millage would be based on what currently the rates are from the appraisal. We'll have a couple different versions of that and where we are. A lot of it's deciding where y'all feel your budget needs to be. So I guess the best thing is get our calendars out and decide a work session. We have the work session, and if we do, depending on what we have to set, what the budget sets can be determined if we have a special call meeting for millage. That way we can maybe have some final answers and approve the budget in September. So we can either make next week or the 24th or the 31st, somewhere before the next meeting, if we have to have another called meeting between them. The biggest thing now is to just go ahead and get a work session just on the budget set tonight.
Right now, I'm good any time.
Next week's fine with me.
17th, Monday?
It would be
Okay.
good if we could do it in case we need to do another one.
Yeah. Chris, are you good for the 17th?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll set the first budget workshop at August 17th. Y'all want 6 PM or 5?
Doesn't matter to me.
Kurt, you're the 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. All right, 6 PM here.
5:30 is fine. Can you do 5:30?
Yeah, if you want to do
Hey,
Yeah.
these things run long.
Yeah, no.
it. Yeah.
I'd do it at 3 if I could.
But you be here at 5:30, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right. Item 9 was a discussion of streetlights. I do have the one over at Lake Hills, and we'll add the core circle. So once I get that information back from Georgia Power, I got with Kerry West, and he gave me the guy, and he's giving me an inventory. We'll see how many. I'm going to try to meet him and show him where those lights are on the interstate. I want to know if they're ours or the state's.
Is it too late to add something?
No, I don't think so. We can reapprove the agenda again, can't we? Yeah, go ahead. What you got? Item 10.
Okay, I want to talk about the brush ordinance. Well, I really want Timmy to come up and talk to us about it. Come on, just like what you come on. I gave everybody a copy of our, of a letter that he basically leaves. We've updated a little bit when he goes to places and there's, little
Whole trees get cut down and it just, we're running, we ain't got nowhere to put them. I mean, it's supposed to be 4 inches and smaller. And like I said, people's cutting whole trees down and like down here on the north end, we got 1 truckload and there's about 5 left in that one spot. They cut a big tree down in their backyard, drug all the way around front. We got nowhere to put it. And it's not an ordinance to get trees.
Did he cut it down or he cut somebody?
He said that he figured in order to finish up, it would take him and Mike.
It'd take all day, at least, on that one pile of brush.
Did he cut it down or did he have it cut down?
I don't know exactly, if he had it cut down or he cut it down.
Either way, we shouldn't be picking it up.
Right.
I think we need to discuss some more on this before we make a decision tonight. I mean,
We did make some exceptions because
yeah,
of the
during the storm, we have to make exceptions.
Yeah.
And
But
we
that
done
wasn't due to the
I
storm.
know, I'm just saying, but we also don't have the right equipment to be doing what we're doing either. That's one of the things. We're working with 3 men that can't do it, and we got to have better equipment to do it. They're using their backs and/or having to haul a machine out there to do it each time. And since we can't burn no more, we've had that problem as well, and that's just one of those things we're going to have to do, and then how are we going to enforce it to the next thing to be.
And I don't know what to say, because
If I'm a homeowner and I cut my limbs under 4 inches, I'd want them picked up. I don't think a homeowner cutting his limbs,
Yeah, that's
I
not a
could,
problem.
but that's what it says right here. Any trees cut down by owner or commercial will not be responsible. I'm talking about tree
It's always
limbs.
been that if they have it cut down, then
Yeah, it's always, yeah.
That's their problem.
Yeah. It's always been, if you had it cut down, they got to dispose of it,
Right.
yes.
Well, I think we need to take the current one and just kind of put it 1-to-1 and see where we can work it. We may just need to do a good session on it and see. I mean, that's what this is for, is work discussion. I don't think we need to vote on this tonight, do we? Or y'all wanting to?
Well, I really didn't. We voted on it when, Rosanna, we voted on it.
This came straight out of the code book today. Whenever she came
We've
down.
already voted on it. I just wanted to.
In the
You know,
code book,
it's gonna
it's a tree
the
that's
thing
over
about it
4
is when
inches.
somebody calls me, I always tell Timmy, I say, look, we go above and beyond, and I'll say, look, just get it, I always say, do everything we're supposed to do, and then if it's a little bit more and we can get away with it.
Just come
then
over
that's
our current bill.
But,
Do as much as you can.
but
yeah.
maybe I've went overboard, or maybe I've had them go overboard because now they're feeling kind of abused and used because it's happening a whole lot.
And it'll happen every time, because when you start bending the rules and going ahead and doing it, that's in my job where I work, we cut off at 4 o'clock, and if you say, well, you're here at 4:15, we'll go ahead and do it, then it creates a problem. because it's constantly gonna happen.
I know, but you know, it's, when you got this little lady over here.
Oh, I understand
I mean,
both sides, but I
this-
mean,
Yeah, it's like, she can't move it, we're already down here. I mean, we can do it in 10 minutes where it's gonna take her, no telling.
yeah, then it
If it's
could,
even gonna happen. I know, I'm taking the blame, I just don't know what to do now. Tell me what to
Yeah.
do.
I mean, you gotta not do it, I guess, is, you know,
To me, anything over 4 inches is considered a tree. That's one way to do it. But I go back, we got to have the right equipment for these 3 guys to continue to do what they got to do. If not, we got to take a truck, another truck with a trailer, and the bobcat or the skid steer to pick this stuff up. So that's 4 pieces of equipment. We need the right truck with a boom knuckle to go out there with 1 to 2 guys and pick this stuff up and rake it and do it.
a workman's comp claim,
We pay for
It's
the
going-
truck 3 times.
yeah, and then the citizens is having to pay for that.
Yep.
So it's,
So we've talked about it. Me and Kirk looked at one. He's found one or two, but I think that's something we need, and it's something you could be used more than once too. I mean, we're going to have to fight the thing to take this stuff off. That's just part of it. We're going to chip it, or we'll have to take it to the
That's the
landfill.
problem, the bigger stuff is what we're going to dispose of it.
We're not. I mean, we'll have to leave it to the point if we to order this, if it's over 4 inches, you just have to leave it.
Okay.
We have to get the address, either call them from the number that called the ticket in, or when they call in, they have to be told that if it's more than 4 inches, it'll be left.
Well, this letter, we was gonna leave it on there. I mean, leave it on their door or whatever, leave it
And
with the
then-
homeowner.
Yeah, then if they go online and request a pickup, this could be the decisions in here, what it could be. This is how it's got to be picked up.
I just know that one particular situation, they called and complained, you know, to Rosanna and Cindy a few times, and then Timmy, I mean, he cleaned it up. I said, just go ahead and just get it out of the way. And then, but what we didn't know is they had a mountain in the backyard waiting for us to get that so they could move some more.
that's,
That's hard to say if the commercial, I mean, even if the commercial company cut the tree down, they should not, they should be taking the whole thing off. Or they even have a right to burn it on their property.
I saw a piece of machinery down there, but I don't know if it was a
They
rental
can,
piece or.
they have a right to call Georgia Forestry, and they can burn natural vegetation on their property in the city and in the county. So that's what we've done the last few times that we have. Unless it's something that's close to the ditch, I'll just leave it there. The last few I done.
I mean, he said, Timmy, what was you telling me? It's not just that pile either, it's where?
It's
Down in the ditch or?
on the north end, yeah, it's that drop off Highway 11, it's all full of just cut up wood, big wood. It's just, there's probably at least 6 truckloads there, at least, after we done got one.
So we got the limbs 4 inches and smaller, and you left everything else?
But it's all mangled up, I mean, we just have to dig through it. Like I said, we got some of what we could with the equipment, with the backhoe, with the smaller limbs. Like I said, we got a full truckload of it, and it's not even knocked a dent in it. And we got to, if we get it, we got to take a piece of equipment, I gotta get with the people, because we're gonna have to walk in the yard. We can't sit there on Highway 11, we put our signs up, and cars just fly out there, it's too dangerous.
Well, we need to make sure that it's also put in a place on the curb where we can reach it with our equipment too. If it's not, it's their responsibility, not ours.
That's the problem out there, that it's so narrow on the edge of the asphalt, that it rolls off that bank into the yard.
straight off the road, yeah.
Is it exceeding the 20 by 20 pile? So then that's their problem, it looks like now, if we go by the ordinance right here. Let's just try to meet, I guess we
I
just.
I just wanted everybody to be aware of it because
Yeah.
I know how it is when you start, you know, you just tell them you can't do it and then they'll call and I didn't want people to start calling and then y'all say, well, I don't know, let me check. I just wanted to kind of bring you up to
Yeah,
par.
let's just, okay. All righty, anything else for the commission? We're in a workshop. If not, we'll take a short recess and we'll come right back in, or do y'all want to go straight into the regular meeting?
I'm good.
I'm fine with straight in.
All right. Do we?
Alex, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
The city doesn't have any ordinance on how high your grass can grow, do they?
Yes, sir.
They do?
Yes, sir.
Well, I like to keep my grass cut, and I like to be a good neighbor. But I've got a neighbor that's grass is getting close to 2 feet.
Just see Ansel after that, and he'll see you. If they let us know, we'll go over and check them.
Okay. I almost want to buy him a lawnmower. I think the lawnmower looks quite good, but I don't want to pay.
Mona, do you want us to do anything on this, or just this is information only since it's a current ordinance?
Yeah, like I said, we pulled it straight out of the book. We've already voted on it. I just wanted you all to see this letter that we're going to be using so that when the homeowner calls you saying, they left a letter saying they're not going to get this, instead of you having to say, well, let me check into it and make 5 phone calls. And,
Yeah, here's the requirements. Did you meet any of these? Yeah.
I just wanted you all to be aware of it because I feel like it's going to be an issue. Because Rosanna said they're already getting calls.
Oh, yes. It also goes back, one of these days we'll get us something that can help the guys a lot better. All righty. You also want to go into the regular meeting?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, we'll go ahead and call the regular meeting to the City of Trenton to order. We'll go with our prayer, and I guess before we pray, Brother Eddie, would you mind introducing your friend, or our new friend?
I don't have any friends in
You
here.
do, too.
This is Dennis. He's the new pastor at Trenton Methodist.
And y'all have talked, and
Yeah, I think we're okay.
yeah.
I wanted to improve my relationship in the
Yeah.
community and reputation, so I'm sitting next to Eddie today.
Yeah.
One mistake.
Dennis has sent me an email. He's also met with for emergency management, and I think he has already got with some of the preachers throughout the community about some of the volunteer groups they do, and just coming here with his feet wide open and jumping in wide open with us, so I appreciate that. So thank you for being here. So y'all want to do a double prayer tonight? We'll go prayer from Brother Eddie.
If I refuse to pray, that doesn't look good. Let's pray. Thank you so much, Father, for the place that you've allowed us to live, for the leaders in this room, for everyone who's gathered here, and for the work that they do just to make this a better place. And I pray that, Lord, you would grant wisdom to our mayor and to the commission, to the clerk, to all of our people who are working for us. We do appreciate all that they do. And more than that, we are so grateful and humbled for the love that you have for us. We pray that in the days to come, you would draw us close to you, closer to one another, allow us to feel your presence and your power, and that in all that we do, we might bring glory and honor to Jesus, and just open up our heart and our mind and all of our being to him and to follow his leadership. Again, use us for your honor and glory. Bless our leaders tonight. Give them the wisdom to do the things that would be good for us, but more importantly, pleasing in your eyes. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Thank you, Brother Eddie. Dennis, do you want to tell us a little bit about where you come from? I meant to do that before we got started.
I'm originally from the state of Texas. Grew up in the Texas Panhandle near Amarillo, Texas, where I spent my childhood. I've been a United Methodist pastor throughout the state of Tennessee over the last number of years, and was just recently appointed to come to Trenton United Methodist Church by my bishop in the Holston Conference. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir.
It's good to reconnect with people. Thank the Lord for Reed Fawcett, who was pastor in Trenton for 18 years. Those are some mighty big shoes to have to even step next to. But it's just a pleasure to be here and to be part of this community, and I thank you for welcoming me tonight.
Thank you, Dennis. All right, we'll go for roll call. Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Wooten.
Here.
Commissioner Forshee.
Here.
Commissioner House.
Here.
So we do have a meeting, and we'll go ahead and we'll start in with our reports by the commissioners. Let's go with the police commissioner tonight.
The Trenton Police Department answered 491 calls for service during the month of July 2020, conducted 2,088 business checks, made 16 arrests, completed 39 reports, and 3 animal complaints, 8 domestic calls, 11 medical assist calls, 5 mental health calls, 6 thefts, and 19 accidents. 171 citations were issued in the city. The collected fines for July were $24,071. Total fines collected for 2020 year-to-date is $87,233.28. I do want to say that the touch a truck was a success. Although the circumstances was not the same, but we still had a good amount of people turn out, and a lot of volunteers. They also done the census. Had a bus there for the census people to do their census. So that was good. And let's see, I just want to thank Integer for they donated over $600 worth of school supplies. The Care Source of Atlanta also provided water bottles, hand sanitizers, soap, wipes, pencils, etc. Jacob's Well Ministry, they donated backpacks and school supplies also. We ended up giving away approximately 300 backpacks full of school supplies, so that was great. The fire department, sheriff's department, Mike Lawson, Alex Case, street department, all brought vehicles down for the kids to see. It was a little different because they couldn't climb up in them and all that stuff, but I think they still enjoyed it, and the main thing is kids getting what they need, for school and stuff like that. So that was good. I want to mention our police officers. In this time, it's hard for officers for all the stuff that's going on, and they're doing a fantastic job. And I just want to thank them for what they do, and all the citizens' support for our officers. Churches, individuals have brought food and gift bags and stuff, positive phone calls and messages, so we really appreciate that and the work that they do. So that's about all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Powell, Parks and Rec.
Okay, community center will continue to be closed because of the COVID-19 restrictions. Animal control, we had 8 animal control work order complaints. And we were inspected by the Department of Agriculture, and everything was okay at the animal control center down there. The recreation at the ball fields, the middle school has begun playing and practicing, so if you see a crowd over there, that's what's going on there. Also, the swimming pool is closed now. The swimming pool operated through August the 6th and continued to enforce the COVID-19 restrictions. The gate revenue for the year was $12,125.60, and the concession was $3,257.11. Also, we talked about the speed humps last meeting, and those are already down. I'd like to thank Ansel and the police department for their work and all they did to get that done. Thank you very much.
You got a little work out of the street department too on that.
Yeah.
I missed something actually that Integer, they also donated 9 home desktop computers that they'll be giving away to students. I think they're going to get with the school system. Is that right, Christy? And give them to the most needing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, as far as that goes.
They're Windows 10 machines and updated with the newest stuff, so they just trying to filter some of their stuff out, and they brought them by, I think, the week after our touch a truck, and Only things are missing monitors. We're trying to see if somebody might want to help with some monitors. If not, we might
Donate
find some monitors to donate to them. So, yeah, it's really nice. It's great of them. All righty, thank you. Commissioner House.
I've been really lucky the last couple of months. My guys have done this for me, and I'm going to give it a shot. The sewer report, we had 30 underground locates, 6 emergency locates, and 18 sewer calls. The inspections for the month of July were 3 new, 2 remodels, and 4 additions. And they completed 8 electrical and plumbing inspections and a garage addition at 42 Case Circle. The fire department was dispatched to 15 fire-related calls, 4 accidents, 3 medical, and they were canceled, dispatched and canceled en route to 30 different ones for a total of 52. And I really appreciate the job that y'all do. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Wooden. Streets.
Well, our big thing was, we finally got our paving done on the street repairs. Lookout Circle, Bernice Drive, Sunset Drive, Glenview Drive, 4th Street, Oakwood Avenue, Core Circle, and Wally Circle. And we are looking to start this next week paving on Walnut, I'm sorry, Walnut. And we have a new employee. His name is Tyler Wright, so we want to welcome him to the street department.
And all of 20 LMIG money that we're paving that with on our 30% match is with SPLOST funds. And we just currently got the other application in that I think is due by February, and we're working on our streets to present for that as again for next year. Thank you, Commissioner. I go into the mayor's reports and then we read the financials. The CARES Act has been the biggest thing that's kept a lot of time. They issued this to the state, and they said ACCG and GMA worked hard to get each one of those fundings for the cities and the counties to there. There's a lot of hazard pays that we're learning now that qualifies for public safety, other expenses that we've included here in the city. As Terry mentioned, the extra employees we had to do to keep the pool open, sanitizing. We had 2 extra employees, and then we finally, I think, moved down to 1. And then when we was able to open the playgrounds, they had to take time to go over there twice a day in the morning and before they left in the evenings to keep all the playground equipment. So that was a non-incurred budgeted cost. So we're captured all that. Any of the supplies that we've ordered to help beyond that we're capturing and going beyond. A lot of the regional commission meetings have shot back off to virtual, so we're getting caught back up with that. The Northwest Georgia Regional Commission has also been awarded some part-time jobs, at least up to 12 to 16 weeks for anybody that's affected by COVID-related that's been let go or currently laid off. They can go up to the Dade County Commission office and go into the commission office. And Paula Stallings, she's a retired from the school board, I think, last year. She's actually been hired by the regional commission. There's several different job applications throughout that at least could help out for at least 16 plus weeks or so. So that just kicked off here recently. So hopefully if there is some help or some jobs out there to help with that, and it'd be covered under the COVID layoffs and stuff.
Now, those jobs would be working at the county commission?
County or city or anywhere. Yep. Again, there's some guidelines under it that they're working with, and I'm not sure if there's 1 or 2 fixing to start soon, but there's a lot of red tape through it. But I was actually hired by the commission, the regional commission, to come up and do that. Again, we worked a lot on the budget numbers here. Appreciate each and one of the commissioners that gave us the information in. I really hope to spend some time in that, and we'll come in here and we'll have one big detailed sheet that we can look up on quickly. We'll be able to adjust numbers and see, then hopefully by the end of that meeting we can decide where we feel the millage rate needs to be set to making sure we got to take care of our city and our employees, what needs to happen. That's about all I have. Again, we'll continue to work on this front out here to get it in and try to meet this deadline on the current CARES Act funding. We have to have something obligated by the end of the month. Ansel's been real instrumental in getting a lot of bids and help with this, so I appreciate him. I think we did talk to the contractor today, and he's waiting on some final numbers so we can get that submitted in to that. So we'll go into the financials under tab 2. General fund balance ending July 31st, 2020, $449,510.11. Your bank reconciliation is behind that. July profit and loss, page 2, revenue income was $139,663.79. And if you look back on page 1, you'll see about 3/4 of the way down, it says intergovernmental revenue, Fed government grants, that $33,779.96. That's the first 30% of the CARES Act funding. As I said, we worked on this a while back, and it come pretty quick, and when we got the stuff set in, and then once we finally filled the information out, I think about 3 days later, it was direct deposited into the city account. Ending the month of July, page 8, expenditures were $198,962.02. Year to date, this will be 7 months of our budget. Revenue retained in is $874,768.10 at 47.9%. Then expenditures for the 7 months is $985,172.59. That's around 53.9%. So we're a little about almost 6% ahead, but again, we still have revenues coming in that'll hit us real heavy at the end of the year. Sewer fund, current balance in July, $82,107.96. Your bank reconciliation is behind it. July profit and loss, $29,135.47 on charges for the month. Expenditures was $37,494. 7 months of sewer fund, $216,627.02, or 52.3%. Your second page, expenditures is $222,698.34. We're at 53.8, so like 1.5% over anticipated at the time. Police Department special fund, $2,714.94. Your reconciliation follows. Fire Department special fund, $607.15, and your reconciliation follows. Hotel motel fund tax into July, $79,380.08, and your reconciliation follows. Tab 3, your splosh fund, current 2015 splosh funds is $168,117.17, and your reconciliation as follows. And then your detailed list follows behind that. So that would be my report and my financials for the month of ending July 31st of 2020. Do we have a motion to approve the financials as read?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Wooten.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Fortune. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. All right, Tree City USA, is Miss Eloise here? Or I guess it's Miss Jennifer.
I promise she's coming.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot to do in this heat, but there has been some cleaning out of flower beds and replanting flowers. And there were a couple of rose bushes that were put in near the pool, and a little juniper tree, that sort of thing. But we're making plans for the fall.
And while I got you, we do have some movement forward on the scenic trail.
We do.
And we do have meetings on Wednesday?
Tomorrow.
10 o'clock. So we really don't have anything to know that it's moving. We got a lot of very interest in it. We her and Jameson met, I believe, a couple of weeks ago at the commission office with some more folks on it, so we'll have some more more information next month on that. I believe we'll be able to come back with a good plan.
Yeah, we've raised some funds thanks to a generous contribution from the Lindhurst Foundation as well as the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga. We've raised some money that's going to be able to cover the costs associated with the surveyors as well as the engineering plans. So we're kind of in the process of that. They've already been contracted. There's been some preliminary clearing around the elementary school through the collaborative effort between the county and some private citizens who contributed to that. Mr. Massidale was very helpful in doing that just so that the surveyors could even have access into that
area.
Exactly. Yeah, we're really excited about it.
Yeah, more to come next month.
More to come.
All right, thank
I would
you.
like to mention Eloise. Y'all, I was coming down the mountain. I had stayed over the state at my mother-in-law's house. We came home at 5 o'clock in the morning, and Eloise was out here watering.
That's right. She's been doing that all
At
summer.
5 in the morning.
Carrying jugs, jugs of water.
Yes.
She has 80 years old. Precious, precious Susan.
She loves her trees.
I just thought that, well, she was watering those, the flowers in front of the kangaroo.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's dedicated. I was just up and out because I couldn't sleep.
All right, I guess Ms. Marchana's not here tonight. I know a little bit, trying to remember what all she talked about at the commission meeting. I know they've been really busy. When I was in there doing some work in the library, we're also doing work in there for the protection of the employees. The way they're checking their books in, the way they hold them for so long and sanitize, they've got a real good system, and people are still checking out books and coming in and reading. I was really, it's busy, and they've got a good separation in the library. So appreciate them and them folks working there. We'll go to the executive director or the Alliance with Dade. Ms. Jane Dixon.
Thank you very much. Tonight, I have 3 other members from Alliance today with me. On my left, this is Dina, and this is Harry Abels, and Dina Abels. And in the center there in the green shirt is George Williams. They're here, and they're going to talk to you all in just a few minutes. But I want to just start off by saying our president, I believe most of you know her, Kathleen Reed. She couldn't be here right now, but she is doing an excellent job moving us forward, and we are really doing something. I know I had talked to a few of you all about the chamber and some things we might could do, and I want to assure you all that the people that are working on these committees are committed to doing this right, to doing it where it can be sustained itself. We will have the chamber, we will have the welcome center, and we will have tourism. Those 3 things together form the Alliance for Dade. The office is open now, and George is going to tell you a little bit more about that. It's up on the square. If you haven't seen it, then you must never go to Thatcher's, or you must never go anywhere around there, because it's there. So, and we welcome you to go in and to see it and speak to the young lady that's there. George is going to explain that to you in a minute. But if you have any questions after we finish, please ask us, because we've got so much knowledge. We're just dying to tell it to you, okay? So George, you want to start, and then Harry can finish out.
I don't know about the so much knowledge part, but
Well.
I'll do my best. Alex, you can go to sleep. Since
No, I'm good. We appreciate you.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate being here. Kathleen couldn't be here, but I'm the vice president, so you get second best. It's an exciting time for us. First of all, we have a new logo for the Alliance for Dade, and we have a mission statement. I didn't prepare an overhead, so to see that, but we do have that. As Jane mentioned, we've hired a lady by the name of Brooke Lacey. She was trying to be with us tonight, but she's been a little bit under the weather the last couple of days. Fortunately, it's not COVID. But we have reopened the Welcome Center as of last week. I'll call it a soft opening. We want to do a grand opening one of these days when we can figure out how we can invite this commission, the county commissioners, and some important people in the county to be there, and at the same time keep social distancing at hand during the whole time. So We are open. We're open Monday through Friday, and we have identified that we do want to open on Saturday as well. So we are looking for another person. This would be a part-time person. We've talked about maybe an intern, maybe from the high school or from Covenant College, that might fill a role to fill our Saturday hours in. My wife and I have personally been down doing some work in the Welcome Center. We gave it a fresh paint job. While we were there, I mean, it's amazing how much traffic there is in Trenton in the middle of the day. And that helped us decide initially what our opening hours would be, and that's why we think it's important as well to be open on Saturday. We're working on two other things that we're trying to get launched by the 1st of September, and that's a new website, which will have links to the old chamber so that people get directed to the new website. And the other thing is we're going to start our membership campaign. And we call it an investor campaign because we look at the people who want to become part of the Alliance for Dade are actually going to be investors in that group. We're looking at trying to have a kickoff luncheon. I don't know how we're going to quite achieve that yet, but we'll certainly come back once we have plans for that and let everyone know about that. We're also planning on taking over the Business Expo this year, which was an event that took place in December. Nathan Wooten and I in our group are going to meet at some point in time and see if we can keep that process moving, which would be a big event for the Alliance for Dade. We have another issue that we're working through, and that's called road signage. We have several road signs around, and none of them point to the Welcome Center downtown. They all point to where the train, to the train depot where it used to be. So we're working on trying to get that rectified because when you get off the interstate, it's pretty hard to find where the Welcome Center is once you leave the interstate. So those are the things we're working on. There's more to come. There's actually more work being done on things, and I didn't want to bring everything tonight. I'll come back and bring that next month. But I want to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, we'd certainly be glad to answer those.
Well, as far as the signs, Kathleen had called me last week. Didn't we get those signs down?
I want to get them this week.
Oh, we didn't get them?
We haven't got them yet. No.
Oh, okay.
And
We are
plus
going to
need
get
put
those.
up new signs.
We are going to get those down for
Okay,
you,
it's
though.
good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Harry?
I'm the treasurer and the web chairman, and as George said, we have an exciting new website. It's called alliancefordade.com, and we'll link the two sites together. On both sites, we post when we have our board meetings. They're done via Zoom, and anyone is welcome to attend. In addition, we post all our meeting minutes on the website, so if you're wondering, what are we doing? You can read the minutes and find out. And I really wanted to thank Roseanne for checks. She has provided checks to us, and the Chamber of Commerce and the Welcome Center Dade Alliance can't exist without funding. We deeply appreciate that. And some people say, well, where do you get money and what do you do with it? Roseanne can now look at our books anytime she wants. We use a system called Wave Apps, which you probably hasn't heard of, but it's very similar to Quicken Books. And the beauty of it is I can give people view-only access. So if you're curious, what are we doing? Let me know and I'll set you up and you can take a look anytime you want. And if you see things and you have questions or you have recommendations, we'd be delighted to hear from you. So thank you again.
Thank you all.
Any questions? Thank you.
We appreciate y'all. All right, I don't see William here, and I'm going to substitute him for Miss Carrie Anderson, Census 2020.
Yes, Census 2020. So this is a really big deal, Census 2020. You get to do this once every 10 years, and that's it. So please, please, please fill out your census if you haven't already. You can go to www.2020census.gov to fill out your census, or you can call I gotta try to remember that number, 844-330-2020 to fill out your census. They have bumped the date up. The end date for the census was supposed to end October 31st. They have moved that up to September 30th. So we only have a month, roughly, to get everybody to fill out their census. Right now, we are at about 51% of people in Dade County who have filled out their census. Something big did happen on Saturday, and that is they started putting census workers out in the field here in Dade County. So if somebody comes up to your door and knocks, make sure that they are properly identified as a census worker. They should have on a tag. They'll have a device. They should have on a bag or a pouch that says U.S. Census. So if you have any questions about if they are authentically a worker from the U.S. Census Bureau, they should be very easily identifiable as such. If you don't think they are, then we ask that you call the police. So our police chief here knows about it, as well as the sheriff's office for the county. So they are aware of that, but they did start doing in-person census taking on Saturday, and that will continue for a while to help get those numbers up. If you don't want them to come to your house, the easiest way to get them to do that, or to not do that, is just to go online and fill out your census online at 2020census.gov.
10 questions, 4 minutes, and you're done.
It's super easy, and it really does help the community. So it helps our teachers get grants. It helps with emergency services, with roads and bridges, SNAP. What were some of those other things, Jane, that we were talking about?
Hospitals, libraries.
Hospitals, libraries, so.
STEP program,
Yeah.
medical clinics.
Medicaid, so.
Medicaid and Medicare.
It's very, very important to do your census, and one of the best ways to get people to do your census is just to ask them if they've done it. So ask your neighbor, ask your cousin, your sister, your brother, your mom, have you done your census yet? And if they haven't, encourage them to do that. If you know people who can't read well enough to fill out a census online, they can just call the telephone number. It's all verbal. So they can call that 844-330-2020, and they can fill it out that way. Or they can go to the library during the library hours, and Marshanna and her crew will help them fill out the census there. Thank you.
One of the stipulations on how the COVID or the CARES Act funding was based on population at the time that it was, and I want to say the county was at 13,000 something. I was thinking in my mind how much it was in the city. I want to say it was like 2260. So right now, if we stayed at 51% and we go till the end of next month at 51%, you could take all that funding and cut it in half. That's how they funded us for the CARES Act funding. So if we had 112,000 based on our population thing, it would have been 60-something thousand. That's another important rule, or another important for the census. And the other thing that people get to us a lot, and we talk about these businesses wanting to come in and stuff, and one of the bigger buildings that we've been really working with folks is the Fred's building. And working as with our economic director and personally trying to call these people and talk to them, they look at that population. You know we get traffic from our neighboring counties as they go to the west, but when you look at a population that's under 20,000, sometimes they won't even talk to us. And a few places we talked to, that was it. They wanted 20 to 25,000 population. So again, please take some time to do that and ask your friends and family and work with that. We've got, I guess, a month and a half to help get that up. And one of our census workers is actually sitting back here in the back, isn't he? So he, Mr. Alex with K-Win, he's doing this on the side too. So we appreciate that and what they're doing. So please help out with that. All right, thank you, Carrie. I don't know any legal matters before the commission or any unfinished business. Does any citizens' participation? Anybody like to speak to the commission tonight before we go into new business consent agenda? Okay, if not, we're going to new business. Consider all items for the workshop agenda.
I have a question on it.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. The spending resolution for the CARES Act funding, is that just authorizing you, or is it like the county went to you and one other commissioner?
I didn't don't know if it had talked about that in there. I just asked for myself or for Santa so we could work with it. As long as we follow this was a resolution that we actually had to sign by that was sent to us through the CARES Act. I think. It also, the city hereby directs and authorizes the mayor of the city of Trenton or his designee in conjunction with the grant. All right. Going to the items to consider will be the workshop agenda and the regular schedule agenda, the minutes for the July 13th meeting to be approved. We had to, do we need to vote for the removal of that zone? It was never a zone request, was it? It was, do you think we need to vote for that on the Milton Circle? He never did really. Okay. All right, we'll move to add surplus equipment will be the paving machine and the tire trailer to be added as surplus equipment, and we'll do that as sealed bids. We'll put out advertising in the paper starting next week for sealed bids. I guess that's run for a couple of weeks.
And the money to be used for paving.
Do you want to open them in a meeting, or do you want to?
I think so.
I'm sorry?
I think they have to be open in a meeting.
At the next meeting?
Sure.
Yeah. And we'll work to move that towards the purchase of additional paving
Yes.
from the purchaser. CARES Act Resolution R-4-20, which will authorize the mayor as executive of the grant following the guidelines of the federal government. And we will give updates to the commission as we get to these. Set a budget workshop for August 17th at 5:30 here in this room. And rest of it was just discussion about the street lights to be added to look at in the brush ordinance that everybody's aware of currently. Any other items that I forgot, or everybody good with the items to be voted on under the consent agenda? If not, we need a motion to consider the items under the consent agenda.
I make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Forshee.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wooten. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. No executive session. We have, I guess, a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
By Commissioner Powell.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wooten. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate everyone. Have a safe rest of August.
Appreciate that.